Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Jess. I'm here from Ready Church. I want to welcome you all to our YouTube channel. Hope that you enjoy the message, and don't forget to like and subscribe below.
This rest series is so perfect for where God has me in my life. I believe ministers who share the gospel, the word that God gives them should hit them first. And when I look at my life and the things that I've experienced in my life, I realize how backwards I've lived life. You see, I, as a black man, have been nurtured and raised to live and exist a certain way. And a lot of it has been good, but some of it has been challenging. You see, growing up, I grew up kind of in the South, but whenever I got in trouble, I got sent to the North to live with my grandparents because they were New York City police officers and they just knew something about discipline. And oftentimes, living with them, I'd have extra chores to do. They were teaching me discipline and a work ethic, right? And so in the fall, when it was time to rake leaves, I had to actually rake. This was a huge yard that they had. Huge front yard, side yard, backyard. And I would get up early in the morning and I would go to the shed and I would go looking for a rake. And I'd go in the shed and I would see there are 5 different types of rake. Why in the world do you need 5 different types of rake? It's just leaves, right? But as I'm looking for this rake, I also see a leaf blower and a leaf vacuum that I wasn't allowed to use. My grandfather was building work ethic within me. He was like, yeah, there's some easy ways to do this, but I'm trying to build you into something great where you don't have to rely on something or somebody else. Good teaching. Wintertime, I got to shovel the driveway. Go to the same shed, and I'm looking for a snow shovel, and right next to the snow shovel, I see a snowblower. And I'm getting frustrated, y'all. Why in the world can I use the snowblower? I had to shovel. Mind you, this driveway is huge. Can fit about 12 cars in it. I had to shovel because they were trying to teach me a work ethic. And you know what? It began to work because, I'm a hard worker, y'all. Any task put before me, I believe I can do it. Then, growing up in school, I realized I was pretty smart and I was a good student. And so now, you put work ethic and smarts, I believe I can figure anything out. Oh, don't mess with me. Put a challenge in front of me and I believe I can accomplish it. So where's the problem? I began to believe in myself more than I began to believe in God. I'm going somewhere. I believe we live in a society that is suffering in our mental health, that is suffering with stress and depression, is because we're believing in the wrong things. Our hope is built on ourselves, or our hope is built on other things that can't sustain us. I'm a simple guy, so when I start thinking about challenges, I need to go back to the beginning and figure out how we got to where we are today. So if we're going to go to the beginning, let's go all the way back to the beginning. And Deanna will laugh at this. I need help. Can somebody read for me Genesis chapter 1, verse 1? Deanna, I promise I'm going to be good. Somebody read for me. Who got it? I can't see, so I'm going to need you to be loud and proud and bold. Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Okay. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. You can put this in your notes. I believe we're suffering in our mental health and stress and depression because of an identity crisis. We forget who we are and whose we are. Can you, look, Pastor C, you about to preach my whole message just now, but it's okay. It's okay. we forget how powerful our God in heaven truly is. Like sometimes we got to remind ourselves that it is God who created the heavens and the earth, the heavens, the solar system, who put the very planets in place and gave them purpose. And they're able to revolve around a sun and not crash into each other. That we serve a God that created the earth and put it in the perfect place in comparison to the sun where it won't burn up and it can promote life because it's not too cold. We fail to realize the greatness of God. And then if you read on in chapter 1, it goes on to detail his glory even more, his power even more, that he would go on and the earth was dark and void. There was nothing, and at the power of his word, light came into existence. God is so great that even beyond that, he separated the land from the seas, and he populated the air and the lands and the water with living creatures. He put vegetation on the earth. The God who created us, who gave us life, did all of those things and stepped back and said, that's good. But check out love and intentionality. After he had created all of those things, he created humans, us, in his image, in his likeness. Can somebody else read Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, I think through 30. I'll tell you when to stop. This is important. Identity crisis. Identity crisis. Who got me? Just start reading. Genesis 1, 27 through 28. Here, I'll tell you. I like to go to the word because I want you to know I'm telling the truth. I ain't making stuff up. And I like other people to read it so you know that I'm giving the word correctly, because if I don't, Drew's going to check me. So, Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, God created humans in his image, male and female, he created them. And then he told them something. He gave them purpose, direction, and a promise. He said, be fruitful and multiply, govern the earth, and everything that's living, I'm giving to you. From the beginning, God's intention was to give us control of everything in the earth. Look at the model, too. The model was God worked. He created us and gave us purpose and promise. Then we rested. If you read on, going into chapter 2, after he created us, we rested. It's peculiar. God did not create us at the beginning and ask for our assistance in creating the earth. He didn't look at you and said, hey, I want you to build Jupiter, and I want you to put Jupiter over on the left. No, I said the left, not the middle. Can you move over a little bit? He didn't do none of that. He did the work, gave us purpose, allowed us to rest, and then our work began. But if we're honest, that's not what we see and feel today. Somewhere along the line, we fell away from what God originally intended. Humanity was tempted to lean into their own understanding, to turn away from what God intended. And because of that, there were repercussions that happened. Because of the turning away from God's intention, that's where hard work was introduced. Because of the turning away of what God set forth from the beginning, that's where toiling came from. And God didn't take away the blessing. God gave us a consequence because of our actions. It doesn't even negate our greatness, our gifts, our abilities. We still have those things. Oftentimes, we just put it in the wrong direction. If you go to Genesis 11, nobody has to go there. Genesis 11, we see greatness on display. Human greatness on display. Here's another point you can write down. Greatness unchecked is dangerous. the people began to work together on one accord. And they started to build a tower that they wanted to reach heaven, because they wanted everybody to remember how great they were. And they were even successful to a point. God saw how successful they were, and he interrupted their activity because they couldn't handle having that type of greatness. They began to build without God. And here's an example of how greatness unchecked is dangerous. Come on. My son David, he's an awesome Robloxian. Anybody know anything about Roblox? Like, this dude is a genius, like straight genius. The things that he can build and put together is amazing. He came to me one day and he said, Daddy, somebody stole all my coins, or whatever it's called, in Roblox. Yeah. So I did some research. I was like, man, people be stealing coins in Roblox, what's going on? And I found out that these last 2 years, Roblox is one of the most hacked systems ever, like ridiculous. And so I explained to David about hacking, but he was too immature to understand what it was. Yeah. And so he began to still participate in the activity that he was great at. And he wasn't ready for it. Then when I was doing a device check, I realized he had 5 viruses on his computer. Wow. Greatness unchecked can absolutely destroy lives. And so we get stressed out because we're amazing. You're amazing. You're gifted and talented at something. That's how God designed you. But just like you, just like me, we get frustrated when we start moving in the direction that we want to and things ain't working. Yeah. Come on. Man, I'm grinding. I'm working. I'm doing everything I think I'm supposed to do. Why do I not see success? I see my goal. And then we start saying things like this, and this is the title of my message. Yo, I'm going to get it how I live, but I'll sleep when I die. Like literally, I see the thing that I'm chasing after, and I'm going to get it no matter what and at what cost. Come on. And so I ain't got time to rest. Yeah. I'll sleep when I die. And when you think about it, that's crazy. Because most times we're chasing after this thing and we're grinding so hard that death is all around us. Yeah. Can I be vulnerable with y'all? Come on. I stand before you as a man of God who's given my life away to helping people know God. But I also stand before you at the highest weight I've ever been in my life. Yeah, I'm gonna go there. I like telling on myself. Come on. I'm 440 pounds. I believe I'm one of the hardest workers that I know. Yeah. But sometimes in the grind, in the pursuit of the thing, other things get forgotten. Yeah. That's how you can see very successful people struggle in their marriage. That's how you can see very successful people and their kids are wilding out, because they're so focused on something that they forget everything else around them. And how dare I stand before people like y'all teaching manifest mentality, that if you serve God, this will happen, but I go home and I live a McDonald's mentality.
You talking, man. Come on.
And I can say that because I'm getting my stuff together. Yeah. And my friends like Pastor C and Kimberly are helping me get myself together. But greatness unchecked and focused in a direction without taking a step back and resting. Yeah. It took me so long to realize how faulty that way of living and thinking was. Because I got busy looking at success. Yeah. I got busy looking at all the kids I get to meet around Charlotte and all the people I get to share God's good news with, and I'm missing my health. Sleep when I die, but I'm killing myself at the same time.
Come on, Mike.
Identity crisis. Yeah. Identity crisis. Do I got somebody who will help me read? I know we needed some time. We needed some time to get it together. Galatians chapter 2, verse 20. But before you leave, I'm going to give you some time to find it. Identity crisis. I believe, thank you. I believe that I'll sleep when I die is actually accurate, but we use it the wrong way.
Come on. Come on.
That sleep, which constitutes rest, which constitutes peace,
Come on.
actually does come when we die. But it comes when we die to ourselves. It comes when we die to our preference. It comes when we die to the way we want it to happen. It comes when we die to it has to be this way or it won't work. I told you I'm going to back it up with the word. Drew, I got you. Galatians chapter 2, verse 20. Somebody read.
I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me.
I no longer live,
Come on.
but it's Christ who lives inside of me. Read the next part again, loud and proud.
Next part.
Yes, sir. No, right after I no longer live, it's Christ who lives inside of me. Then
The life I live now in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God.
the life I live now, I live by faith
Come on.
in the Son of God.
Come on.
So I got to get out the way so Jesus can take the wheel. I said it earlier, I thought it was an identity crisis, but it's a faith problem. Ooh, it's a faith problem. Okay, we on to something. God originally intended for us to have the earth and dominion in the earth, but we turned away from God, and now we don't believe in what he said from the beginning. If we're ever going to understand who we're truly supposed to be, our minds got to be different. Because the world will tell you you're stupid if you dare think about anybody and anything else but yourself. The world will crucify you if you dare consider anybody else and anything else but your grind. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not copy the patterns of this world, but be transformed, be different, be changed. What? By the renewing of your mind. Your mind has to be different. Your thinking has to be renewed for you to truly know what. Somebody read, I need to hear it in somebody else's voice. Somebody read the second part of Romans 12, verses 2. And I'm almost out your way.
Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve that God's will is his good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Whoa. That God's will. That God's will. That is never changing. That has been the same since the beginning of time. The plan that he put in motion way from the foundations of the earth. That is good and pleasing and perfect. We're running around here stressed and depressed and crying, trying to figure out why life ain't working. But when our mind gets transformed from the patterns of the world and focused on the things of God, it's good and it's pleasing and it's perfect. Last scripture, I think, my favorite scripture is actually painted on the walls of my bedroom. Matthew chapter 6. Somebody read it, starting at 25 through 33.
Matthew chapter 6, 25.
Who's reading? Is that Jalen?
Therefore, I tell you, do not worry about your life.
Hold on. That's powerful right there by itself, Jalen. Say that again.
Therefore, I tell you, do not worry about your life.
Don't worry about your life,
What you will eat or drink,
what you'll eat or drink.
or about your body.
Okay.
What you will wear, it is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes.
All right, right there. Don't care about your life. Isn't life more than food and clothing? I got to be careful at Ready Church because, y'all rock the shoes. Y'all be on it. No, I'm just playing. Shoe game be on point. I was in my closet like, what am I going to wear today? I I can't step up in the building with no chucks. I got to wear some J's, or I'm going to get booed off the stage. But is not life more than food and clothes? Quick testimony. I'm not a sneakerhead, but I appreciate good sneakers. How about God said, stop focusing on trying to fit in with the culture and do what I told you to do, and I'll give you a job that'll give you a sneaker allowance. True story. Come on, Jay, let's go.
Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they?
Birds of the air, they don't sow, they don't reap, they just poop on your car. And God still cares for them.
Come on, Mike.
Now, it's not that God doesn't care about the birds, but the scripture says, Jesus said this, aren't you more valuable than the birds? Because he put you in control of the birds, but he still takes care of them. What you got to worry about? Let's go, Jay.
Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life?
So your worries, that you're crying, that I'm crying, beating my head up against the wall, stressed out, short-tempered, frustrated, mad, sad, can any one of those worries add a single hour to our lives? We're killing ourselves worrying about things that can't add. If anything, it's taking away from our lives. Let's go, Jay.
Why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow? They do not labor or spin.
Jay, my translation that I like to study with, I study the NRSV and then also the NLT. I study with them together. It talks about the lilies of the field, and it's a wildflower. This isn't necessarily a flower that we put on our dining room table. So nobody's taking care of these flowers. They're actually in the wilderness, but God is actually taking care of these flowers. And they're some of the most beautiful flowers in the world. If God is going to take care of the flower in the wilderness, that's going to die anyway, that doesn't necessarily have any other purpose but to just look pretty in the wilderness, what makes you think he's not going to take care of you? Let's go, Jay.
Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one.
Okay, Jay. I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry. I love you. You know, we cool. But Solomon was one of the wealthiest people of all time.
Work that.
Pastor C, his shoe closet is so much better than yours. Adam, his shoe game would have killed you. And it says that Solomon, in all of his glory, at the height of his power, Solomon was such that guy that people would come and visit his kingdom and bring him all types of gifts and clothes. He had everything, the latest, the greatest, all of that. And Solomon in all his glory has nothing on what God has planned for me and you and you and you and all of the children of God. Come on, Jay. I'm almost done. I got a red velvet cake waiting for me.
That is how God clothes the grass on the field, which is here today and tomorrow, and is thrown into the fire. Will he not much more clothe you? You of little faith?
Ooh, hold up. He got gangster for a second. Jesus be dropping some bars sometimes, and he'll be like, whoa, I'm trying. he threw a quick little jab in there. You of little faith. The same Jesus, like you've seen the miracles, you've heard the teaching, you've been rocking, but you still ain't got faith? Of little faith. I said it was an identity crisis. It's really a faith crisis. Come on, Jay.
So don't worry saying, what shall we eat? Or what
All right. Jay, we're going to come back to that last verse. But her version said pagans.
Yeah.
The NLT says unbelievers.
Yeah.
These things, these worries, these doubts dominate the thoughts of unbelievers. Not of believers, not of those who have been redeemed by the love of Jesus Christ. These dominate the thoughts of unbelievers. I'm going to ask you a question. Please don't raise your hand. Please don't quicken. I don't want nobody to know what your answer is. Do you believe? Do you believe that Jesus died on the cross and crucified everything that you struggle with?
Come on now.
Do you believe that nailed to the cross is everything you stress about? Do you believe that when Jesus rose again, he got up so that you can get up again?
Come on now.
So the question is,
Come on.
do you believe?
Yeah.
Because the believer has the audacity, has the crazy ability to just step in a direction of, you know what, I don't have the answer, but I know who does. Now, Jayla, it's this last verse that just do something to me. It's this last verse that really sobers me up. It's this last verse.
First his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well.
My favorite verse, Pastor C, in all 66 books of the Bible. Seek ye first the kingdom, right?
Yeah.
That means chase after doing what God would have you to do. Live unto the pattern of God's kingdom, right? Live righteously. Do it the way that God would have you to do it. Check the promise. What's that last part, Jay? The promise.
And all these things will be given to you as well.
All of these things will be given to you. We run around and we grinding. I mean, we going to get it. We got bags under our eyes. We tired. We're frustrated going to get it. And God said, I'm trying to give you everything that you need. I know what you need. I know what you're struggling with. I know what you're trying to achieve. I know you're trying to make mama proud and daddy proud. I know you're trying to live a greater life than what you grew up in. I know that you grew up with holes in your pants and roaches as cousins, and I know you're grinding so that you can have something better. I know the things that you need. I know you're trying to set up a life where you can actually help send your kids to school. I know you're trying to be to the place where you're debt free. God is saying, I know what you need, and I'm trying to give it to you. The formula, chase after, desperately chase after what God would have for you. Do it his way, and all of these things will be freely given unto you.
Come on now. That's good.
Stand to your feet. The identity crisis and the faith crisis. If only we would ever get to the place to remember that the God of the universe is the one who gave us purpose and promise. Purpose and promise. Dominate in the earth, and I want to give you all of these things. The faith crisis. Do you believe? I'm a radical kind of guy. I'm simple and I'm radical. So I'm going to do something. Pastor C said it's okay. I desperately want to help as much as God would give me the ability to help people get to their destiny. And if this is a faith problem, let me tell you how little of faith you need that will change your life.
Talk about it. Come on now.
If you had faith as small as a mustard seed, now mustard seed is like barely visible by itself. But mustard seeds, when they grow, it would consume this whole room.
Right.
When mustard seeds grow. If you had faith as small as a mustard seed, you could look at a mountain and say, mountain, get out my way, and the mountain would move. And so I'm going to ask only tired people. I'm going to ask only people who desperately need God to do something different. I'm only going to ask people who are tired of doing things their way, who are stressed out, who are frustrated. I'm only going to ask those people to make a mustard seed move. That's what we're calling this, Pastor C, a mustard seed move. I'm not going to ask you to run around. I'm not going to ask you to give a $20 offering. I'm not going to even ask you to lift your hands. What I'm going to ask you to do is just come forward. That's it. That's it. I want to fill this place with people who desperately need God to do something that's greater than their own. And I want to pray for you. Just come up front.
Just again, I hope that you enjoyed the message and that it blessed you just as much as it blessed me. If you feel led to give, you can do so by giving through Cash App, which our Cash App is down below, or you can give directly on our website, which is